important. Let me see here. See, because I don't see anything moving. Huh. I was wrong. All right, let's get into it, shall we? So let's see here. I don't need that. A little glitchy today. Apologize. Let's take a look at this. Let's blow this up. So today, actually a pretty good day. It's the 25th of January, and we had a little bit of a rebound. And before everybody celebrates, like, the bull run's back on. This is awesome. That's not how it works. It's going to be rocky for a while, so we have to just pick our spots. But hey, take the small wins for what they are, right? So Bitcoin had a pretty good bounce. Some may call it a dead cat bounce. You're going to hear that all day today. You're going to hear people call for Bitcoin going to 20K. You're going to hear people calling for Bitcoin going to 50K. And I can't tell you what it is because I don't have a crystal ball and nobody else does either. And for everybody who says, well, I called this time and I called it at that time, yeah, they probably did call a couple of times, but are they consistently right 100% of the time? No. And if you know somebody who's 100% of the time, introduce me because I'd love to have them on the show. But so far, I haven't found anybody who has perfection. So Bitcoin, the last 24 hours, up 8.5%. That's pretty good. And over the last couple of days, I've been worried that it might actually go down a little bit farther. So I didn't buy this dip until this morning. I think I hit it around when Bitcoin was rising up around 3 or 4 or 5% increase. And I was like, okay, this is a pretty good time to buy just a little bit and go from there. I am not good at timing the bottoms, and I'm not good at selling at the absolute tops. And that's how I made all my money, because that's just makes sense to me. So Bitcoin is up 8.5%. Ethereum up 9.6%. But again, over 7 days, down almost 25%. Cardano, pretty good, 3.8%. XRP, 5.7%. Solana, 8.5%. But again, look at these numbers are pretty brutal sell-offs. 34% for Solana, 30% for Polkadot, 26% for Avalanche. But again, focus on the good stuff. 15, 9.2, 12.5, 8, 13%, 23% for Phantom. So pretty good day all in all. The real question, though, is where are we going? Where are we going and what is happening? And to take a look at that, I know some people don't like to say this, but I still believe it to be true. Crypto and traditional market are pretty much correlated. So what I want to see is it is roughly 10:50 here in Puerto Rico. We're on Atlantic Standard Time. So that means that it's 9:50 Eastern Time. So let's see if we can get an update. Yeah, that's it right there. Oh, it updates automatically. Pretty cool. Didn't know it did that. I thought I had to refresh. Now that can't be right. Let me update this. Aha, knew it. So S&P 500, let's take a look over 5 days. So today we are at Tuesday, and it's already opened up a little bit below NASDAQ. But remember, we had a pretty good uptick. So once market goes up a little bit, so does crypto. Let's see if NASDAQ follows that same thing. So NASDAQ down again today. Take a look over 5 days. Had a nice little bump at the end of yesterday, and then we open up slightly smaller or slightly less revenue. So that's what we have for the traditional market. So what I want to talk to you about, you guys, is the 4-year plan. The 4-year plan and how I did things. I know, like, if you're just getting in or you've been in since 2021, hey, congratulations. You picked, depending on what month, could have been awful, could have been great. And I'm just here to tell you that it doesn't really matter in the long run. And I'm just going to go over just real quick some things that I've done to help me out. And these are the things that sometimes even I forget because I've been in the market for quite some time. So in 2017, when I got in, let me blow this out. Burp. Let me just have you see what I saw. This is what I saw in 2017. I got in somewhere around here, somewhere around there. Let me blow this up so you can see it. And most of you know my story, so it's not anything revelations. So I got in around here, and it went up, and I thought I was a genius, and I dumped a ton of money. I didn't dollar cost average. So I didn't know what dollar cost average was. And before you know it, I was up here. I was buying around right here because everybody told me it was going to go up to the moon. Here's the thing. I didn't just buy Bitcoin. I also bought Ethereum. I also bought Funfair. I also bought XRP. I also bought Chainlink. I also bought Energy Token. I also bought Dragon Chain. And I can tell you probably 30 more different cryptos that some were great and some were just awful. And I will tell you that because of what happened next, which was this little action right here, where everything dropped down to the floor, Bitcoin actually did pretty good. This is just Bitcoin itself. Bitcoin actually, it lost a good amount of its value, but I didn't really put too much. I put enough into Bitcoin, but most of it went alts because that's what was going off so great. And I will tell you that I lost about 85 to 90% of the value of my portfolio right there. So if you're here from 2021, I feel you. Because if you hit those points and you went all the way down, same thing happened to me. So here's the thing. You have a decision, and we talked about this before. And the decision for me was this, which was I can get out now and I can just save face and go, well, I lost. Because it's pretty tough when you go from you're up 6 figures, and then all of a sudden now you're down to roughly 4 figures. Sound familiar? And if you think to yourself, well, yeah, that's what it is. Then you have to tell your significant other, whoever that is. I can tell my wife, hey, it didn't work out, and we're down right now. So you have a choice. 2021, 2017, it doesn't matter. 2013, it doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. There's so much volatility going up and down, up and down. So when you think to yourself, man, this only happened to me, you're incorrect. This has happened to a lot of us that are into the crypto space. There's a lot of people that have been here for quite some time, so it's hard for them to remember. But I try to remember through these videos what it was like back then. There's a reason why I am like this, not freaking out and screaming in my microphone, because I've already been there and I've already gone through these things. And I know that time seems to heal all wounds, and it actually does some pretty big wonders for your portfolio as well. So this is not, I can never tell you what to do. This is not investment advice. This is just investment opinion, but that's what happened. And what I want to take a look is the ones that have proven themselves. So I want you just to notice this. So Bitcoin, let's max out. Bitcoin's been around since the beginning. This one only goes back to 2013, but it's all the way to 2009. And you can see that, okay, well, it hit here, then it went sideways, then it went up and down, and it'll correct itself again like it's doing right now, but it'll probably go up because it has time on its side. So it's not as risky as, say, getting into a crypto market cap that's ranked 1,240. You can make a lot of money, but you can lose it pretty fast. Also, Ethereum. Let's take a look at Ethereum. Let's just max this out and see where we're at. Kind of the same thing, right? Kind of the same thing. And over here, oh man, $1.25 in 2015. And then you come over here, went up to $1,100. Then it just rode out, and then back we are. So, okay, well, let's take a look at some other stuff. Those are pretty good. Will they continue? I can't tell you they're going to continue like that. I can just tell you that the history shows a pretty good correlation. Now, let's go down. Oh, let's take a look at Cardano. Let's see how Cardano had done over max amounts. So actually, this was a tough one for me to hold, but I did because I bought around 20 cents, 54 cents. And then it crashed. I've been dollar cost averaging for all this time. And look at where we are now. So there is that part, but let's go down because those guys, they've been around for quite some time. XRP, I will tell you right now, XRP will do great if it wasn't for the SEC. I'll get into that in a second. So XRP, oh my God, since 2013 has been around, and it's gone up over here, and down. Can it do again? Sure, it can do it again. It just depends on what's the outcome of the SEC, and that's a wild card. But let's take a look at some of these that don't have a lot of history, even though how great they are, and we take a look at like TPS and things like that. Solana is it could be great, but it doesn't have a lot of history. I mean, it's got a history back here. I mean, remember, this is only 2020, April. And it kind of did this and kind of came down. So does it have the history to say that it can meet all the challenges? Depending on who you ask. But for me, I think as time moves forward, I'm going to try to, I like layer one solutions, but I won't be putting a ton of money into just any one that I can see. Also, let's take a look at Polkadot. Polkadot, what's the max time frame here? And of course, it'll go before this because of different reporting requirements. But again, it's only been since August 2020. And this is how early we are. Now I want to take you back just a little bit more, and we can go down the line. Also, look at Chainlink. Chainlink, I think, is a great one because it's been around, my God, it's been since 2017. Been around for quite some time. But I think every chain needs it. Every chain, well, if you want to do any kind of like data that you have to pull, like real world data off from like real world sources into the blockchain, you need Chainlink. I just don't understand. It's just one of those things that just goes down and doesn't really, it kind of like moves in the bear market. So what I want to talk to you real quick now about is this. So the 4-year plan, I'll just put it in a nutshell. Just like how I did in 2017. Again, I can't tell you what to do. But if you got in 2021, I understand that you wanted to get rich overnight. I get it. Everybody wants to do that. It just makes sense, right? But there's still are those principles. And one of those principles, it was a pretty great video. It was by Simon Dixon, and he was from Unbank. Unbank Yourself. And he talks about the ABCs, which is accumulate, build, and cleanse. So what I want to talk to you about is accumulate. But the big thing is, well, accumulate what? Because all those examples, it sounds good, but I want to give you one more little lesson, which is called a dash of salt. And when I talk about a dash of salt, what I want to show you, and not to pick on any one chain or whatnot, but for Dash, if we take a look at Dash over the last 4 years or so, actually, let me back up. Over 7 days, not too good, right? 24 hours, now we're talking, all right. 14 days, 30 days, 90 days, 180 days, which is like a lot, but let me max out here. If you pick a project, and I haven't really done a deep dive into Dash, but I can just tell you that when sometimes good projects just don't work out. I don't know the fundamentals here, but I can just tell you, like, if you were buying here and you still wrote it out for 4 years and you were dollar cost averaging, you might make up a little bit, but not too much. And then you're just over here and you're still low. You're like in the same spot you were. I mean, $97. This is $180 4 years ago. So you might make yourself up around here if you keep dollar cost averaging and selling at the right times, but sometimes it just doesn't work out. Again, if you own Dash, it's probably great. I have no idea really about it, but you got to be careful about the one that you pick. And sometimes it's better to pick a safer bet. Now let's take a look at Salt. Salt was another one that I actually invested into. And Salt is ranked 1,200 and something, blah, blah, blah. But it was in the top 50 during the 2017, at least in the top 100, I can tell you that. So taking again a look at the 7-day, looks okay. All right, not too bad. 14-day, 30-day, 180-day. But I want you to look at this. Here's the max. Here's the max. So if you think that you can dollar cost average and it'll make itself okay, it doesn't always work out like that. That's why it's so critical that you pick projects that have a pretty proven history and are good. I will show you though, like, look at this. Oh, this is brutal. $13, $15, and it's been 8 cents forever. Now, maybe salt will come back. I have no idea. But I will tell you one thing. Salt still running, still waiting for a credit card, and still has crypto-backed loans. If you want to go down that route, that's fine. But the reason why they're having a hard time is the SEC charged them on September 30th, 2020. They settled against Salt Blockchain for conducting an unregistered ICO of digital tokens. Again, another security issue. So the question then is, why does Salt fall down so heavy as opposed to XRP, which is still in the top 10? And the answer is community. Community will keep a lot of things afloat. Unfortunately, Salt didn't have that, and that's where we go. So if we're talking about things that just don't work out sometimes, remember that term, a dash of salt. So, not to rain on anybody's parade, but that's why I bring up some of these blue chippers. That's why I talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's why I talk about Chainlink and some of these layer one solutions. So it's up to you to decide which ones those are, and I can just tell you which ones that I get into. Like today, when I bought the dip, you know what I bought? Bitcoin. And also, I also bought Algorand. I think that's going to be a pretty great play. I had to buy a little bit of Ethereum. I just had to. And then a little bit of Luna and Chainlink. So I bought a little bit on the dip. Depends where that will go. But I think in the long run, it'll work out okay. So that's just what I want to bring to your attention. So that was, we were talking about Simon Dixon's video, the ABCs: accumulate, build, and then cleanse. So let's get into the build part. And I want to talk to you about, again, planting seeds. And we're going to just take a look at some things as far as planting seeds about what could be bigger in the future. And again, it gets more risky as you get outside these blue chips. But I think if you plant some seeds into some small ones, they can do pretty well. So planting seeds, this is the one that I think could do pretty well. This is World Mobile Token. And again, I always look at projects for the UTT. What's the utility? What does it do? Well, they have actually a working product right now for telecommunications all the way through Africa. They have 5 different setups in Tanzania, Nigeria, I believe. And they've already have maxed out all their nodes. It's supposed to be 1,000 nodes, and they hit that in like a couple weeks. So if you want to plant seeds, I did this deep dive video 8 months ago where I liked the project. I took a look at it, and I thought this could be pretty good. And I had on Mickey Watkins, and he came on 8 months ago, and I've been talking about him ever since. Will this be one that could, be a blue chipper? I don't know. But I can just tell you that for me, the plan, the 4-year plan, again, getting back to that, is whatever I buy, I'm thinking about this 4-year elongated project that I want to do. I want to get into crypto. I want to dollar cost average in. Then when it goes up and there's like a mania going on and people think it'll never drop, that's when I'll probably dollar cost average out. I will take some profits. I don't care if people talk to me about, Rob, you got to have diamond hands. That doesn't matter. What do you want to be? Do you want to be the richest corpse in the cemetery who has the most Bitcoin and you're dead? Or do you want to actually use it for things that you can actually, enjoy your life? So dollar cost average in, dollar cost average out. For the majority, also have some things where I can plant some seeds. And if you want to learn more about why I think World Mobile Token is going to do pretty well, I'll link the video at the end. Also, they're going to have an AMA tonight. You can ask them any question you want to. It's going to be over on their YouTube channel, which is that one right there. So that is the planting seeds part. 4-year plan, planting seeds. And now I just want to give you a quick refresher about what's going on as far as the new stuff. So the new stuff, this is from Blockworks, and they came out and said that Charles Schwab is now considering launching a crypto spot ETF. I can't 100% verify that. They said it's considering launching crypto, but I wanted to take you down memory lane real quick and show you exactly what's going on so you can be a little bit more, put things in context about where we're at. This was a great thread by Dread Bongo. And he pretty much lays out a ton of different aspects about why everything's going so well in this space. Let me refresh this because it's for some reason frozen. So he talks about price adoption and things like that. First thing he talks about is he's talking about December. then he says, look, Japan's Minister of Economic Security says implementing a CBDC is a matter of national security. Let me blow it up over here. This is better. And I want you to remember this. This just not too long ago, the CEO of Twitter and Square changed their name to Block. And why? Because this multi-billion, I don't think it's $1 trillion company, multi-billion-dollar company is going heavy into blockchain. We know that Jack's a big supporter of Bitcoin. Also, don't forget that Facebook, one of the 5 of the FANG stocks, rebranded their entire brand from Facebook into Meta for the metaverse and blockchain because they think they know where things are going. The Korean Stock Exchange, this is crazy, calls for more legislation. And the reason is because since virtual assets become major investment assets, it's time to prepare an institutional framework. Toronto Stock Exchange listed the Fidelity Advantage Bitcoin ETF and mutual funds. Adidas enters the NFT space with Bored Ape Yacht Clubs and everything else. And then also, I want to show you this. VCs and hedge funds and how much they're actually betting. Look at this chart right here. These are all the different companies and the different institutions and hedge funds that are getting into it. Paradigm, 2.5 billion. Pantera, 600 million. Crypto, 20 years, 700 million deal to rename Staples. Jesus, Staples Center. Consensus, 200 million. What else? Pokemon Go raises 300 million for a $9 billion valuation to build the metaverse. Paradigm co-founder joins board of Stripe. What else we have? Starkware raises 50 million for $2 billion valuation. I don't know which that one. That's a little bit confusing. And then, oh yeah, major video games, getting into the NFTs part, which we had the first one being Ubisoft. There was a backlash, but I think it's going to be big. And then this was actually said by the Australian Federal Treasurer. The goal is to make Australia the world leader in crypto. Oh yeah, Visa launches crypto consultation services to help banks. NYDIG came out and said, hey, we were going to give 300 different banks, as far as like the small to medium-sized banks, to give crypto or to allow crypto be traded by their customers. Elon Musk does his thing. This is nothing. HSBC. Disney announced plans for a metaverse after their patents were approved. Adidas also the same thing. What's the good stuff? Oh yeah, this was interesting. In December, Sotheby's reported over 100 million in NFT sales. So again, if you don't, we talk about NFTs and metaverse, you can get into those specific plays, or you just get into layer 1 solutions, the Ethereums, the Avalanche, the Solanas, the Cardanos, the things like that, because things are going to be built on those. Luna, stuff like that, right? Well, not Luna. Luna's more of a different play. Let's see. Oh yeah, some of the biggest hedge funds. Movorkel, Ray Dalio came out and said, hey, I think it's going to be a big thing. Paul Tudor Jones starts to invest into it. Stanley Druckenmiller, and also remember Bill Miller, one of the Wall Street legends, he gets into it. And then it goes on forever about what's actually going on here. So that was just like a little reminder, a little refresher of what is going on. And that, hopefully, will put somebody's fears at ease about where we're at. Because you have to understand, you're going to hear a lot of negative stories. As the market goes up, everything's great. And you hear nothing in the news, MSNBC and CNBC, about how crypto is doing so fantastic. Now, as it drops, like it always drops, you're going to hear negative stories and you start to doubt. Like, is this the right play? Should I be here? Should I do this? And I'm here to tell you, I had the same thing, the same problems. I just took it over 4 years, just go, well, I think, because I was around when the internet came about. When the internet came about, people didn't believe it was going to last either. We didn't. We thought it was going to be just a simple place for hucksters and scammers to hide and steal all our debit cards, because we never would actually use our debit or credit cards online, because that's where you went to get all your money taken. Doesn't that sound like crypto today? And that's what we have. So hopefully that helps out. And then lastly, we'll finish up. I just want to tell you that there is going to be a meetup for here in Puerto Rico. It's over at the Smokehouse, Caribbean Smokehouse. And I'll retweet this now. It's tomorrow from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. And there's going to be a nice blues band playing, so you can cry about your portfolios. Let me retweet this just to make sure everybody sees it again. So follow me at News Asset on for Twitter, and you can check that out. Also, if you are new and looking for a place to actually buy crypto, get into crypto, there's a link in the description. It looks just like this. And what it is it's my exchange and wallet feeds. And you can check that out. This is all the things that I have recommended and actually use. Well, most of them. So Voyager and Celsius I use totally. KuCoin rarely. Kraken rarely. SwiftX I don't use them. They're in Australia, but I like how they give you your own personalized rep to actually walk through the whole process. And there's a new one that I added called Stablehouse. Stablehouse, it's another brokerage. It looks to be pretty good. It looks to be up and whatnot, but the problem is it's not available in US or Canada at the moment. So use it at your leisure. I will say this, it looks interesting because down here, two things. First of all, it's based in Bermuda, regulated by the Bermuda Monetary Authority. All right. But it does have pretty good rates. Binance Coin, 12%, Gemini Dollar, 12%, and USD, 12, and Paxos, 12 and 12. Pretty good protection. They sign up with Fireblocks. These are hardware isolated MPC wallets. They keep your data secure. Company on fee though. They have pretty good robust security because they make it standard for 2FA and email verification. So you can check those out. But just so you know, not available in US and Canada and Afghanistan, Albania, and all those crunchers. So check it out. I have looked into it. I can't even use it because I'm not outside, but from what I understand, people seem to like it. It's very, as they say, stable, and that is it. So look, that's all we have today. Let's get out of here and finish up with a little Q&A. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to. Sorry, but that's what we have. All right, let's banners hide. Look at all these bashing of the other YouTubers. Look, man, the other YouTubers, I'll just say this. Every other YouTuber that's out there, they have their place for what they do. Some are hype. Some are there to get you in. And that's okay. It's like when you're walking down Bourbon Street, right? And there's always somebody out there at the hype man like, hey, come on here, check this place out, get in here, blah, blah, blah. It's the greatest of all time. And you get in there and like, this isn't that great. But it's not a bad place. So like some YouTubers, they're hype. And it's okay, but they're designed to get you into the crypto space so you can find, better places or not better places that just give you a little bit more balance and will tell you that, hey, we're in a bear market. Hint, we are. Hey, things don't always go up and things go down, and that's okay. And hey, it's going to take a long time for your plan to get into something. I know it sucks, but it is the reality. So that's how it is. All right. Thanks. Vincent Mark says it right. Do your own research. I know. I try to keep it real, but it is tough. I mean, I got to tell you. It's not actually, no, it's not that tough. It's actually pretty damn easy to keep it real. All you got to do is just say, here's what the market's doing, and here's where I think we're going, and this is based on some data or some external news and information that we find, and we take a look at on-chain data. We take a look at the UTT, utility tokenomics and team, and just go from there. It's not rocket science. The only thing that I will say is this, is that no one has a crystal ball. And I know people will say, I know where things are going. They may know where things are going in the next couple hours or so, but I don't see how someone could say, yeah, in the next year, this is where things, next 6 months, this is where we're going. Next month, this is where we're going. I don't see it. I can tell you where I think things are going in the next 5 years, but even I'm not Nostradamus, just how it is. Holding very strong. How fitting. Exactly, Eric. When I was talking to the manager, I go, hey, do you guys have a band? He goes, yeah, they're playing blues on Wednesday. I'm like, perfect, because this market sucks. All right. South Korea holding strong. Very ground thinking. Love your price. My price predictions were awful. And I will own up to those. I called for Bitcoin 150K. That did not happen. I called for Ethereum at 10K. That did not happen. I did call for Cardano at $3. That did happen. And Theta, I think I said 10, and I went to 15. But I got a bunch of other things wrong, so it doesn't matter. Like I said, all the people that are out there, they will always throw in your face of the things they got right, but rarely do they say when they got things wrong. And nobody gets it all right. Kidding me? Out of their mind. Thanks, man. I think really you owed it to yourself because you did a lot of research. I know I'm not the only one that you watch. I know you don't read all the stuff over at Dan Teaches Crypto. You probably go to the websites and do your own research and do your due diligence. That's the most important thing, not what I say. What's up with SundaeSwap? That's question one. What's up with SundaeSwap? SundaeSwap is going through congestion, and we even talked about this last week. Matter of fact, actually a week and a half ago, SundaeSwap put out a Medium post and said, "Hey, just so you know, just on our testnet, we saw a lot of degradation of our DEX when people were using it to trade during the testnet. So because of the excitement in the first couple days and week, we're going to see a lot of congestion and a lot of slowdown. And just so you know that things are going to take," and they even said this in their Medium post, "days to process." So that's what's going on. Can they fix it? Let's hope so, because the whole world's watching, and I sure hope so, because I like Cardano. But it is what it is. And you know what? I got to tell you guys one thing about Cardano. This was really good. So me and James were having a great conversation about Cardano. I know everybody is all on James because he just loves Solana and hates or is displeased with the outcome of Cardano. He doesn't hate Cardano. And we had a great conversation. He asked about Haskell language. And I go, well, I don't know anything about it. I know I got a friend here in Puerto Rico named Lucas, and Lucas is a developer, and he says it's a very hard language to use. And then Ben from the Cryptoverse said, yeah, it's difficult. But James said, from what I understand from the people I know in development, they said Haskell, it's very hard to use, but it's solid and unbreakable when you use it in the right way. So hopefully they can make it the right way. And I was like, see, these are the things that people don't hear about. James doesn't hate Cardano. He wants it. He'd like it to work. I think. And when he said that, I'm like, yeah, well, there you go. So there. It's a lot different when you actually talk to people than just get some 120 characters on Twitter or whatever it is. A little different. Thanks, man. That's nice. What's my opinion on the whole metaverse? I could be wrong, but this is just my opinion. Financial opinion, not financial advice. I see the metaverse and the land plays, the right metaverses, as huge, because this might take a long. I'm going to try to condense this as best I can. So, you know how everybody on MSNBC, CNBC, and the different mainstream media will talk about how awful Bitcoin is because they say, you just create another Bitcoin. Well, no, you can't, because you can't create the same hash rate power and the proof of work and the history that Bitcoin has. I mean, you can create the whole, the fungibility aspects, the decentralized aspects, and how money works and how Bitcoin works. You can duplicate that, but there's some things that you just cannot. And the network effect is one of those. So when we're talking here on the metaverse, the thing is, people will say, well, why do you get into metaverse land? Because you can just duplicate that. You can just make another metaverse and they can all be land. That's true. And that's why it's so important to pick the right projects like we just talked about. Remember Dash Assault. So when I take a look at projects, I'm trying to get my hands on, well, what's the UTT? What's the utility here in the metaverse? What are they doing? What are the tokenomics for the tokens that are using? And the team that is actually building it, what have they done before? So that's why I do like the sandbox. And I do like Decentraland. They're the two front runners. I do like Cornucopias, built on Cardano. I do like some other ones. Like I think there's one built in Solana, and on down the line. Everdome was a long play. So I believe that land will be a great asset to own, just like regular land that we own for real estate. That's why me and my wife own different places for short-term rentals, like I always talk about. But also the metaverse play, I think that's why it could be big. And I think we're going to do a lot more than what we realize right now. Okay. Ooh, it's a tough question. Rob, as you're DCing out and taking profits, what percentage do you allocate towards real estate and what percentage we use to re-enter into different crypto opportunities? Let me show you a thing me bring this up. Mm-hmm. I'll leave the question up there so everybody can see that. I just need to find this image. There we go. Make sure this is right before I put it up there. Yeah, this is good. So, hope this helps. Here's what we got. Share my screen. Window. Didn't do it right. Share my screen one more time. There-ish. Okay, so here's my percentages. I hope this, I got to take your question now. So the question is, if you're DC out and taking profits, what percentage would you allocate towards real estate and for different crypto opportunities? So let me hide that. So now you know it. Let me get this banner out of here so you can see it. There, did it. So this is how I allocate. And I know some people will say, well, you shouldn't diversify. You should just go all in one sector. You can do that, but I am a little more cautious. I just try to be safe, So like for me, getting out, DCing out, I'm going to put 5% in cash, which I did. And the reason why I did that is because you got to still use cash. I use cash I had to put a down payment on this for this house. And if you haven't watched that video, it's like the one we did 2 weeks ago, how we purchased the house 100%. And then I want to put 25% into stable coins. I just showed you like those crazy yield. 12%, 13% on stable coins just for hanging. Forget about it. 5%, I'm going to put this thing called Masterworks. What's Masterworks? Masterworks, you can find the link in the description. Again, it is this. It's owning fractionalized shares of fine art pieces. Right now, I own a Basquiat and a Banksy. I own a Basquiat and a Banksy. Personally, do I own all of them? No, there's fractionalized shares. And what I really like about Masterworks specifically is that when the market goes up or the market goes down, it doesn't affect the crazy multi-millionaires and billionaires because they don't care, because they want art pieces like this. It is one of the true uncorrelated assets. And there's different data and things like that. I did a video about it. There's a link in the description. And I did a deep dive, and you can skip that wait list right there just by going into it. So I've got, again, 2 pieces. That is Masterworks in a nutshell. And then also, I'm going to put 15% in land, 20% into real estate, because right now it's not a great time to put into real estate, honestly. Land isn't bad, but real estate is super, super, super duper high. So in all honesty, we just try to look for the best deals that we can. But here's the thing. Real estate, you got places where you live, and you got places that are investment properties. Investment properties are great. You know why? It's because if people can't get into homes, or they can't buy it because there's no homes available, well, guess what? They got to rent. And if they got to rent, they got to stay somewhere, unless you're homeless. And homeless sucks. It does. Funny story. When I was a kid, we were homeless for a little bit, matter of fact. And it's pretty awful. So just so you know that people got to stay somewhere. And that's why I like real estate, or we like real estate. Just right now is not the greatest time. But I will tell you this, if you can hold on for a bit, when Jerome Powell starts raising rates, which I think he is, I don't know how much it's going to be, it's going to put a damper on the housing market, and you're going to see the prices go down. Depends on how much he brings up. Just depends. 10% I'm going to put into my Amazon business. I still have Amazon third-tier shippers, or where we do FBA, fulfillment by Amazon. All I do is I just go to distributors and ask them like, hey, do you have X amount of these? We have X amount of these. How much you selling for? I'm selling them for $10. Okay, great. Give them to me for 8, and I'll buy 10,000 of those, or 5,000, whatever it is, and then I ship them to Amazon. That's the whole Amazon business. It's pretty simple. And then also 15% into staking, which I need to do a little bit better job of, I must admit. And then lastly, I Trust Capital. That's for the crypto IRA. You know how Peter Thiel became, or was it 10 billion or 5 billion? I forgot. But he got around 5 billion or 10 billion tax-free by putting all the shares of PayPal into his IRA. And when he turns 60, 59 and a half, he'll be able to take those out tax-free. And that's why I have iTrust Capital, which is a crypto IRA, because I put all my, not all, but up to $7,000 worth of crypto per year into the crypto IRA. And it's 59 and a half. I can take it out and not pay taxes. So if Bitcoin does go to $1 million, hey, I'm looking pretty good. No taxes on that. Living with my kids and grandkids and stuff like that. So that's what we got. Now, as far as like dollar cost averaging out, it just depends. And for me, like there's a link in the description. Jeez, I keep saying it, but there is. It's called my exit strategies. And all my exit strategies are kind of based on like where I think things are going. And I try to sell off and dollar cost average out. Like my dollar cost average for Bitcoin was at 60,000, then 80,000, then 100,000. Well, I didn't hit the 80 or the 100, but I did cash out 20% at 60K. And everybody said, Rob, you are a moron because Bitcoin is going to 150K. I'm like, maybe, but I've been around and I know that doesn't always work like that. So I just do those types of things. Now you can hold on to your Bitcoin. You can take loans and everything else. But right now, if you take a loan specifically, and I can tell you from experience, you're going to get margin called as they go down. And I actually already happened to me with Celsius. So if you do a loan, just so you know, if you don't collateralize that loan appropriately, you will get a margin call. And if you don't collateralize, they will liquidate you. So I had to collateralize more, just how it is. That was a long answer. That was a long answer, folks. Sorry. Ben says, sucks being down more in dollars for SPAC in May. It does suck. Trust me, I know. Man, you know what sucked? It sucked when I went to wife and go, hey, I thought this is February 2018. I thought I was going to turn around because everybody was telling me about the stupid, there's going to be a Chinese New Year and things are going to go back up because they're selling off right now. And then there was some different turmoil going on, but I think it's going to go back, and it didn't. And I was like, it's tough to go and say, I made a mistake, but I'll fix it. And that's how you fix it. That's how I fixed it. You can do whatever you want to. I just said, I'm going to keep going into it because over time in the market is more important than timing the market. All right. Nice. Farming, good for you, man. Look, 10 years. It's just the lighting. Some days I look really old, but today must be good lighting. That's all I can tell you. Also, it helps that I'm in, Puerto Rico is nice and sunny, so get a little tan. What coins do you see in are in Algorand, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a little bit of Luna, Chainlink. Like I said, I'm trying to go more safer because as you get into this time, you realize it's nice to make a ton of money. But what's even nicer? It's not about how much you make, it's how much you keep. So sometimes it's just better just to be a little bit safer. Again, here's what's going to happen. I will tell you exactly how it's going to work. And I will know, and I know people can't tell the future, but this usually happens. When the bear market, which we're in right now, gets even worse, people will start talking more about fundamentals, like they should have been doing a lot longer. Even me, I should have been really harping on that a lot longer than what I did. Then when the market goes up, then all of a sudden you're going to have all these crazy coins come out and go, you can make this much money, meme coins. And then people are like, that sounds good. And they go to that. So just remember, this is kind of like a reset for everybody. And that's why the ABCs, like Dixon says, accumulate, build, and cleanse. All right. What else we got? That's a good question. Christian Badina. Hey, Rob, thanks for the hard work and the Dan website. Remember, Dan teaches crypto, 100% free, always going to be. I made it 100% free because people in different countries can't afford $9.95 a month or $14.95 a month or whatever I was thinking about charging. So I just made it free. So I tried to update. Oh, also, today I update there's 5 sections. I'll show it to you. There's 5 sections, and I'm just going to add another one called Metaverse. And it's some different Metaverse videos that we did in the past and some basic principles about the Metaverse itself. So that will come up. Show it to you whenever it loads. Are there any good books or Udemy courses? I don't know. somebody recommends some good books. I know there's some great books out there, but for me, I just went through a lot of stuff myself. I couldn't even tell you where I found it. All right. Everyone was wrong about your MBTC. It's okay to be yourself. Hey man, you gotta call yourself out when you're wrong. I was wrong. And that's what's up. Do you believe this is a bear market or bear market trend? Well, it's bearish. Let's not lie. I think we're under the 200-day moving average, right? And then we've, from all-time highs, we're way below 40, not way, but we're below 40%. So it's a bearish trend. It's bearish. The bear market, see, some people say like the bear market, it's like, it's going to be bear winter, like the last time, like 2 years. I don't think it goes like that. I think, like James said, he had a good point. He goes, I think we're going to have, instead of crypto winter, crypto seasons, just like the regular market does. It goes up, it goes down. We'll see how it goes. But I think everything's in tandem with NASDAQ and S&P. And I think a big play is going to be with this, because everybody's freaking out about Ukraine and Russia and the U.S. involvement. I just saw a post that 8,500 troops have been ordered to that area by the U.S. So we'll see. Would you call your next dog Bitcoin or Ethereum, Rob? There are no next dogs for me. Chewy and Chloe will live with me forever. I have no idea. This is a good question. This is the fourth question. What do you think could be the Cardano Solanas of 2024, 2026 that we could DCA into now? I look pretty heavily into Near and Phantom. Look pretty good. I need to do a deep dive, but that's not a financial opinion. Or that's not financial advice. That's just me talking off the top of my head. So on that one, you got to really dig deep into it. But maybe the next Cardano and Solanas are just Cardano and Solana. Maybe just keep going that route if you're investing into that one. And of course, I do like Algorand. That Dr. Macari, man, he's pretty good. Conversation with James' argument. No, it was a good conversation. He even said, he's like, Haskell, it is, I think he used the term, I don't want to say bulletproof, but he said it's unbreakable. So I'm talking about Cardano. Now let's just finish up with this. We're going at 48. This is way too long. Rob, your 27 stories is exactly mine right now, man. I feel like, yeah. And this is why I did the video, because look, you right now getting into crypto, you're not the only one. It's already happened, not just to me. And then before me, there was me before me back in 2013, 2014. It's the same thing. It just keeps rolling on and on and on. So don't think like it's like the end of the world because it didn't work out. It just didn't work out right now. And as time goes on, again, accumulate, build, and cleanse. Just start making plans right now. Get into the mindset that this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It isn't. Nothing is. And if they're trying to tell you it is, they're full of it. They're liars. It takes guts and it takes time. And that's really all it comes down to. And there's a reason, again, why I'm like this. And I'm not shouting all over the place. I've already been here. And in 4 more years, you're going to be the exact same way that I am. You're going to be like, oh, I've already been here. I remember that guy, Rob, who talked to me all the time about how this is what it's going to be. And that is what it is. All right, everybody. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Sorry I went too long. A lot of things to answer and go over, but that's it. If you like today's video, give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Also, all those links in the description, there's a ton of them. And that's it for today. So thanks so much. I do appreciate it. I'll see you on the next one.